So I gotta establish a few things quickly. I'm in Hebrews 7, verse 14. For it is openly evident that our Lord has arisen out of Judah, regarding which tribe Moses spoke nothing concerning the priesthood. Guess what? Moses wrote Genesis 49, the scepter will not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh comes, and the obedience of the people will be towards him. The lawgiver is the priesthood, because the lying pen of the scribes has certainly worked deceit. See Jeremiah 8. It's speaking about Judah. And look, of Joseph here, there's nothing concerning the priesthood there. But let me go back here quick. Because that scepter not departing from Judah, you see in Genesis 27, verse 39, this is him speaking to Esau, and his father answered, and he said to him, see now, he's giving him a little blessing. Away from the fertility of the ground will be your dwelling, and away from the dew of the skies above. And by your sword you will live, and your brother will serve you, and it will come to pass when you fight, you will break his yoke from your neck. See, he's going to be the one ruling in that prophecy. And I know there's people that they like to quote 2 Esdras 6:9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. Because what they get from it is Esau's ruling. And when the kingdom comes, Jacob's going to take it back. Well, guess what? It's telling you the same thing right here. The scepter not departing from Judah. Oh, he's ruling. Nor a lawgiver, the priesthood, which Moses spoke nothing about. Because the lying pen of the scribes work in deceit. So until Shiloh comes. And what did Esau do? He took a Canaanite wife. Guess what? Judah did the same thing. And Judah saw there was a daughter of a certain Canaanite. And look, he went into her. Genesis 38. So, and just speak more on that lying pen of the scribes. You got the sin of Judah inscribed with a pen of iron, with the point of a diamond carved on the tablets of their hearts, on the horns of their altars. Everybody preaches, Jesus, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. It's a lie. The Messiah comes from Joseph. Just think, when Rachel died she was on a walk from Bethel to Ephratah, which is Bethlehem, and it was a short walk. And in Chronicles, I believe it's 1 Chronicles 7, it shows the lines of Ephraim and Manasseh, and it mentions in Bethel and its towns. Think, Bethlehem was a short walk from there. It says, in these lives the sons of Joseph. David's dad, Jesse, was an Ephrathite. In 1 Samuel 17, and then in 1 Samuel 16, it mentions he is a Bethlehemite. They're interchangeable because Rachel, when she was died, it was a short walk from Bethel to Ephrathah, which is Bethlehem. Genesis 35, if you want that little reference. And it also mentions that same thing in Genesis 48, Ephrath being Bethlehem. But, so that sin of Judah inscribed with a pen of iron, it's a lie. Look, cursed is a strong man who trusts in man and makes flesh his arm. Think, that flesh his arm, that Judah lying with their scribes, changing the Messiah, and whose heart departs from Yahweh, from the Lord. For he will be like a juniper in the desert. A juniper is planted in clay. And he will not see when good comes, but he will inhabit parched places in the wilderness, a salt land that is not inhabited. Blessed is the man who trusts in Yahweh, and whose confidence is Yahweh. He will be like a tree planted by waters. It spreads out its roots by the stream, and it will not fear when the heat comes, but its foliage will be green. Think of the every green thing I've spoken about in that day of Yahweh, day of the king and queen. And it will not be distressed in the year of drought, nor will it cease from yielding fruit. think that tree is planted in clay too. Both these things are planted in clay. But the cursed one is mixed with iron, a pen of iron. They believe the lies. Jesus is of Joseph. And if you see Joshua 15 and read the whole thing, it shows all the cities that Judah received in their allotment. There's no Bethlehem listed. 2 Chronicles 11, speak to Rehoboam, son of Solomon, king of Judah. See, if you read the Kings books and stuff, you see in Samuel, you see David making a treaty with them in Judah and using them to win wars, and that's part of how they got that kingdom down there. So Rehoboam being king at this point, see, David's already long dead at this point. And to all Israel and Judah and Benjamin, saying, Yahweh says this, you shall not go up, nor shall you fight against your brothers. Let every man return to his house, for this matter is from me. And they obeyed the words of Yahweh and turned back from marching towards Jeroboam. And Rehoboam lived in Jerusalem, and he built towns for defense in Judah. He built Bethlehem. There you go. There wasn't a Bethlehem in Judah in their allotment, but Rehoboam built it after David was dead. And his father Jesse, the Bethlehemite, also the Ephrathite, because it's the Bethlehem in the north, where Bethel and its towns, the sons of Joseph lived, because Rachel died on her walk from Bethel to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem, and it was a short walk. See Genesis 38. But now Hebrews 7, speaking about that Melchizedek order. So, this is Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, meeting Abraham, returning from defeat of the kings, also invoked favor on him, to whom in fact Abraham divided a 10th part of all, first being by translation king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace, without father, without mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but having been made like the Son of God, remains a priest throughout the course. Now consider how distinguished was this priest, to whom even the patriarch Abraham gave a 10th out of the best produce, and indeed those from among the sons of Levi receiving the office of priesthood, having a commandment to take tithes from the people in agreement of the law, with the law, that is, their brothers, even though they came out of the loins of Abraham. The deliverer will come out of Zion. That's Romans 11:26, because blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the nations comes in, and so all Israel will be saved, as it has been written, the deliverer will come out of Zion, and he will turn away ungodliness from Jacob, or he will remove ungodliness from Jacob, and this will be the covenant from me to them when I will take out of the way their sins. Let's make an atonement. But look, Revelation 14, I looked, there was a lamb standing on Mount Zion, with him 144,000 in number. We know that there's, the people taken out of every tribe of Israel is 12,000, and, the 144,000, that's of the tribes of Israel. Revelation 17, here's a mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads represent 7 mountains where the woman sits on them, and they represent 7 kings. So kings in those mountains, kings represent nations. So those mountains can be the nation. The Mount Zion is that mighty nation of Israel. So deliverer come out of Zion, out of Israel. Psalm 110, the voice of Yahweh to my Lord, sit at my right hand till I place your enemies as a stool for your feet. That's that prophet speaking to Jesus. And that says, Yahweh will send the rod of your strength out of Zion to exercise rulership over your enemies. So look, that Mount Zion in Revelation 7, the seal of the 144,000, having been sealed out every tribe of the sons of Israel. They got Judah in there, and look, they put Manasseh, and then they put Joseph. Why would they put Joseph? Joseph is Manasseh and Ephraim. You think that probably said either Ephraim or Dan. And then where it says Judah, it was either Ephraim or Dan. They wouldn't put Joseph in there if Manasseh's already written on there. There's no one from Judah sealed that way. Because look, Jeremiah 8. The bones of the kings of Judah with the bones of its governors and its priests and bones of the prophets and bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their graves. And look, they will neither be gathered nor buried. They will be dung on the face of the earth, and death will be chosen rather than life by all the rest of those who remain of this evil family in all the places where I have driven them. Because they're going to be scattered at the return. They're going to run. They're not gathered from Judah, so they can't be sealed. Even when you keep reading down here, why has the people of Jerusalem slid back by perpetual rebellion? Oh, wait, let me read before that. Yahweh says this, will they fall and not rise again? Will one turn away and not return? So why has this people of Jerusalem slid back by perpetual rebellion? They hold fast to deceit. Those people of Jerusalem or those people of Judah? They're interchangeable up here, and he does that all throughout Jeremiah. So they hold fast to deceit. They refuse to return. Their deceit is that they say the Messiah comes from Judah. I listened and heard, but they did not speak truthfully. No man unburdened himself of his wickedness, saying, what have I done? They keep proclaiming the wrong Messiah. They don't know about the coming one, because the lying pen of the scribes has certainly worked deceit. Each one of these turn to his own course, and the sin of Judah is written on their heart. So, and the horses rush into battle, and yes, the stork in the sky knows her appointed times. You should know that reference if you've seen my series, starting in the Day of Yahweh, Day of the King and Queen, and then the lilies of the Rose of Sharon, lilies of the field video. And the turtle dove and the crane and the swallow observe the time of their coming, but my people do not know the judgment of Yahweh, because they're those cursed ones in Jeremiah 17. But obviously the remnant are the blessed. So the blessed people. So how can you say we are wise in the law? Yahweh is with us. Look, the lion pen of the scribes has certainly worked deceit. Speaking of Judah, sin of Judah, written with a pen of iron. They're not gathered. So they get tricked from the lion pen of the scribes too, because they see Hosea, and it mentions about no longer will I have mercy on the house of Israel. I will completely take it away from them, but I will have mercy on the house of Judah, and I will save them by Yahweh their Elohim. And I will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, nor by horses, nor by horsemen. See, he's speaking about the sin offering here. And look, the house of Ephraim, it should say, because it's speaking about the dispersed and the two covenants with the house of Israel and the house of Ephraim. And I know it says Judah in there, but that's the part of the lion pen of the scribes. It doesn't take much to realize when the Messiah comes from Joseph that the other house is going to be the house of Ephraim or house of Joseph. They're interchangeable. So look. Then he said, I'll call his name Lo Amni, for, you are not my people. So I'm going to go down here right here to verse 10. So Lo Amni, not, it's not my people. Choi El is the living God. So in the ill past, in the place where it was said to him, you are not my people, it will be said to him, you are the sons of the living God. Because that's why he's not going to save him by... save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, nor by horses, nor by horsemen. You can do a resurrection. It's going to be an atonement, because that's what the drink offerings are for. There's type and shadows of it in Leviticus 10. And then the sons of Judah, no, the sons of Ephraim and the sons of Israel will be gathered. Or you say the sons of Joseph. That's where they get some, because they hear, it says Judah, but look, in the place where it was said to him, you're not my people, it will be said you're the sons of the living El. Isaiah 7, verse 8. For although the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin, yet within 65 years, Ephraim will be shattered, so that it will no longer be a people, but they will be the sons of the living God. No. So back in Hebrews 7, even though they came out of the loins of Abraham, see how How can you come out of the loins of Abraham if you weren't first in the loins of Abraham? But he who reckons no descent out of them received tithes from Abraham and invoked favor on the one holding the promises. And without all contradiction, the inferior has favor invoked by the superior. And in such a circumstance, mortal men receive tithes in this case, though it is witnessed that he is living. And so to speak, Levi also received tithes, has been tied through Abraham, for he was still in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him. See, in his loins, and he came out of his loins. And Levi being in the loins of his father, in Abraham in this context, well, Abraham had Isaac, and Isaac had Esau and Jacob. But the promises go through Jacob, because not all who are of Israel are of Israel. He had his sons, Levi, Judah, Joseph, all them. Well, not all are of Israel who are of Israel. Speaking about the ones that came out from him, and Judah is the one that is not of him. He took a Canaanite wife. He threw away his inheritance. And they use the lion pen of the scribes to make you think that the Messiah comes out of them. But Exodus 6:2, and Elohim spoke to Moses, and he said to him, I am Yahweh, and I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as El Shaddai. That's God Almighty. Think the God who is, who was, and who is coming, the Almighty, from Revelation 1. But I was not known to them by my name, Yahweh. Genesis 32, and Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till the rising of the dawn. And look, he said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. And what is your name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, your name shall no more be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have contended with Elohim and with men, and you have prevailed. And Jacob inquired, and he said, tell me your name. And he said, why is it you ask after my name? And he blessed him there, and Jacob called it Peniel, because I have seen Elohim face to face, yet my life is preserved. I think Elohim said to Moses, Exodus 6, but Judges 13:17. And Manoah said to the messenger of Yahweh, what is your name, so that when your words come to pass, we can give you honor? And the messenger of Yahweh said to him, why do you ask after my name like that, seeing that it is secret? So Jacob was in Luz, or Bethel, when he wrestled with that man. Genesis 35, so Jacob came to Luz, which is the land of Canaan, that is Bethel, and he and all the people with him, and he built an altar there, and he called the place El of Bethel. I think when he had a dream to leave, too, that guy said, I am the El of Bethel. I believe that's Genesis 31, because Elohim revealed himself to him there when he fled from the face of his brother. That's where he wrestled. But Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried below Bethel underneath an oak, and the name of it was called Elon Betchuth. And Elohim appeared to Jacob again when he came out of Paddan Aram, and he blessed him. And Elohim said to him, your name is Jacob. See, you got the Jacob's ladder dream, the Bethel, and then, he went out of Paddan Aram. He went through there again. It's the same place. And Elohim said to him, your name is called Jacob. Your name shall no more be called Jacob, but Israel shall be your name. And he called his name Israel. And Elohim said to him, I am El Shaddai. And Elohim spoke to Moses, and he said to him, I am Yahweh, and I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and Jacob as El Shaddai, but I was not known to him by my name, Yahweh. Why do you ask my name, seeing as it's secret? And he asked his name, so it gives him this blessing. And nation and company nations will come from you, and kings will come out of your loins. Kings. The land I promised to give to Abraham and to Isaac, I will give to you and your seed after you, and I will give the land. And Elohim departed from him in the place where he talked with him, and Jacob set up a pillar in that place where he talked with him, a pillar of stone. He laid his head on a stone too in Genesis 28, and he poured a drink offering on it, and he poured oil on it, oil representing the flesh, and the drink offering the blood and flesh of Jesus. Jacob called the name of the place where Elohim spoke with him Bethel. Same place. Genesis 48, and Jacob said to Joseph, El Shaddai appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan. That's at Bethel, and he blessed me and said, mark this, I will make you fruitful and multiply you, and I will make you a company of peoples. That's that place he made a pillar. And look, and now your two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, who were born to you in the land of Egypt, before you came into Egypt, they are mine, like Reuben and Simeon, they will be mine, and the children whom you father after them will be yours. They, speaking of Ephraim and Manasseh, shall be called after the name of their brothers and their inheritance. Their brothers, which are going to be those company of peoples, we know they become Christians. So they, Ephraim and Manasseh, being called after the name of their Christian brothers, are called Christ. And look, and I came from Paddan. Rachel died beside me in the land of Canaan on the journey. From there was only a short way to Ephraim, and I buried her there in the way of Ephraim, which is Bethlehem. And Israel, Jacob, says to Joseph, I had not thought to see your face, but look, Elohim has shown me your seed, because he appeared to him as him. He told him how kings would come out of his loins, and he told him those blessings. You don't think maybe more was spoken that's not written there? But he mentions to him, and he blessed Joseph. May Elohim, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, Elohim himself, who fed me all my life long to this day, the messenger who delivered me from every evil. Because you can take this back to Genesis 28 in the dream. He lets him know he is going to deliver him from his enemies and bring him back to the land. But he puts his hands on Ephraim and Manasseh, and Joseph gets confused because he put his right hand over Ephraim's head instead of Manasseh's. And, Manasseh was older, And Joseph said to his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head. And his father refused and said, I know, my son, I know. He will become a people, like Christians, those companies of peoples, because Manasseh and Ephraim being named after them. And he also will be eminent, just like it says of Jesus in Luke 1:30, 31, 32, right around there. It says he will be eminent, and he will be called the Son of the Most High. But truly, his younger brother will be more eminent than him. And his seed, whose seed? That first one that will become a people and be eminent. His seed will become the fullness of the nations. It's mistranslated as multitude here. I think they're trying to go off of that. They think it's talking about that companies of people. But this is a Christ blessing. If you look it up in the concordance, it's the fullness. Like the Young's literal translation gets that right there and puts fullness, just like the deliverer coming out of Zion. The blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness comes in. And look, Joseph is a fruitful bowl, and the arms of his hands are made supple by the hands of the Hahavir Jacob, the mighty one of Jacob. From the shepherd, the stone of Israel. The Raha, the shepherd, Eben is the stone. So from the shepherd, from out of the shepherd will come the stone of Israel. So Genesis 28, you got Jacob's dream. It's a picture of the resurrection of the queen and the witnesses. And he dreamed, and what should he see but a ladder was set up on the ground, and the top of it reached to the heavens, and there were the messengers of Elohim ascending and descending on it. And there Yahweh, or the Lord, was standing above it, and he said, I am Yahweh Elohim of your father Abraham and Elohim of Isaac. Look, back in Exodus 6:2, and Elohim spoke to Moses, and he said to him, I am Yahweh, the Lord, and I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as El Shaddai, but I was not known to him by my name, the Lord, or Yahweh. So why do you ask my name, seeing as it's secret? The land which you're lying I will give to you and to your seed, and your seed will be as the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. So you're going to be scattered everywhere. And in you, the shepherd, and in your seed, in the shepherd. So for in you, the shepherd will come, and in the shepherd, all the families of the earth will be blessed, because that fullness in his seed. And see now, I am with you, and I will protect you. Think that Elohim himself, the messenger who delivered me from all my troubles, in all the places you might go, and I will bring you back to this land. That's regathering them, but Judah won't be gathered. For I will not forsake you until I have surely done what I have promised to you. And Jacob woke out of his sleep, and he said, surely Yahweh is in this place. And I was not aware, and he was frightened, and he said, how fearful is this place? This is none other than the house of Elohim, the tabernacle, the one that they want built. Speaking of throughout the Psalms and prophets. And this is the gate of the heavens. And Jacob rose early in the morning, and he took the stone or the rock that he put for his pillow, and he set it up as a pillar, and he poured oil on it. And he called the name of that place Bethel, but the name of the city had first been Luz. And Jacob made a solemn vow, saying, if Elohim will be with me and keep me in this way that I go, and give me bread to eat and put clothing to put on, and I will return in peace to my father's house, and Yahweh will be my Elohim. And this rock, that stone, rock, interchangeable, that I have set for a pillar will become the house of Elohim, that tabernacle. You know, the one he saw standing on top of the ladder. Elohim showed me his seed. Show me your seed, he said to Joseph. And everything you give to me, I will surely give a tenth to you. So hopefully you can see that now. So in Genesis 49, this is, Israel, Jacob speaking, giving the blessings. The one who saw that dream from the shepherd, the stone of Israel. That stone represented the house of Elohim, the tabernacle, the coming one. Jesus is the shepherd, from out of the shepherd, the stone of Israel will come. Just like the order he gave in here, because Ephraim and Manasseh being mine, them being the Christ, and these blessings going on him. So we got the first one, the shepherd, and out of the shepherd, his seed will be the fullness of the nations. You got, Joseph is a fruitful bow or fruitful vine, a vine fruitful beside the well. Remember Jesus saying, I am the true vine? That's a Joseph reference. He's from Joseph. But his bow abides in agility, and the arms of his hands are made supple by the hands of the Ha-Havir of Jacob. From the shepherd, the son of Israel. You even got the queen kind of hidden in there. So you can go to that Song of Songs. You put set me as a seal on thy heart, as a seal on thy arm. Your arm. The arms of his hands made supple by the mighty one of Jacob. That's that house of Elohim. And those arms being the queen. So from the shepherd, the stone of Israel. Because look, that stone and that rock, that being interchangeable in the Genesis 28. Look, rise, Song of Songs 2, rise, come, my friend, my fair one, yeah, come, my dove, in clefts of the rock, that's hidden in the rock. The queen hidden in there. So look, doesn't the Bible say it's not good for man to be alone? And look, in his seed, even when Jesus was born, on his mom's side and his father's side, even though I know it was the virgin birth, but they were both of the line of David. These two in the fullness are both the line of Jesus, the blood of Jesus, living descendants of him. So in Hebrews 8, in summary, we have a high priest sitting at the right hand of the governmental seat of the majesties in the heavens. That's Jesus, a servant of the innermost sanctuary and of the true tent that the Lord pitched and not man. There's that house of Elohim, the tabernacle. But for every high priest is appointed to offer gifts and sacrifices, in which it is needful for this high priest to also have something that he can offer. For indeed, if he were on the earth, he would not even be priest. There already being the priests who offer the gifts in accordance with the law, who serve a representation and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was divinely instructed when being about to construct the tabernacle. A shadow of heavenly things. Look, and Jesus gets called this first tabernacle. Christ, though, in Revelation 9:11, having become high priest of the good things coming, that foreshadowing, by a superior, more perfect tabernacle, not made by hands, that is not of this creation, nor by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood, entered once and for all into the innermost sanctuary. It's showing you little types and shadows, but that innermost sanctuary was not yet to have been brought to light while the first tabernacle was still standing. You're still waiting, that mystery, Christ in you. And that this first tabernacle was constructed, and he's telling you about these things, but Jesus is the foreshadowing. And then after that second veil came a tabernacle called the innermost sanctuary, having a golden censer, the ark of the covenant, laid in every part with gold, and the gold in which there was a golden pot holding the manna. Drink offerings go in the ark of the covenant. It's a foreshadowing of that oil and drink offering getting poured on the stone, and the rod of Aaron which budded in the tablets of the covenant. There was 2 tablets, just like there's 2 cherubim where the Ark of the Covenant is. So Moses, being divinely instructed when he was about to construct the tabernacle, said, make everything in agreement with the pattern shown to you. Know who else was divinely instructed? Solomon, when he had to build the temple. When he built the most holy place, inside there was 2 cherubim. But now he has obtained, speaking of Jesus here, a more excellent service, but much more so is he also a mediator of a better covenant, which has been enacted on the basis of better promises. And put the lie of Judah in there. It's the house of Joseph, house of Ephraim, and the house of Israel. House of Israel, fire. House of Joseph, a flame. And think, what did Jesus tell you to, when asked, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your magisterial presence and the completion of the eon? That's Matthew 24. And he talks about those famines in various places. And then he says, and this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed in all the inhabited world with a view to a testimony to all the nations. Then the end will come. But look, Paul told you in Colossians 1:23, if indeed you remain in faith, having been grounded and stable, and not being moved away from the hope of the gospel that you heard proclaimed among all mankind under heaven, of which I, Paul, became an agent. Paul's already proclaimed it all. This would have already happened at that point, but Jesus is speaking about the coming one and that testimony. When therefore you see the abomination of desolation, which was spoken of through the prophet agency of the prophet Daniel, standing in the dedicated place. You can see a little type and shadow of it too in Ezekiel 7:22. I will turn my face from them, and I will pollute my secret place, and for the robbers will enter into it and defile it. And you kind of get down more. Verse 27, the king will mourn, and the prince will be clothed with desolation. And the hands of the people of the lands will be troubled. And I will do to them in keeping with their own way, and in keeping with their judgments I will judge them, and they will know I am Yahweh. Daniel 9:24, 77s are determined for your people and for the set-apart city to finish the transgression and make an end of sin offering. Think they got to do those drink offerings. And to make atonement for iniquity. Remember, when the fullness comes, blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the nations comes, and the deliverer will come out of Zion, and to remove ungodliness from Jacob, and to remove the sin, the atonement. So to bring in the righteousness of the eons, to set a seal on vision and a prophet. Remember the Song of Songs right here? Set me as a seal on thy heart, as a seal on thine arm. And to anoint the most holy one, or most holy place, a lot of the most translations put. I mean, that's why I was mentioning the most holy place, because you got that most holy place that Solomon built, and there was 2 cherubim in there. You got the vision, which I've spoken about these visions, and you got that prophet. You got the king and the queen. So there's got to be a view towards that testimony, this testimony, not what Paul went out and told everyone already. This is that sealed one. So that seal on the vision and prophet, and to anoint the most holy place, where the 2 cherubim are, it's spoken of in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 2. And Yahweh answered me, and he said, write the vision, make it plain on writing tablets. I think the Ark of the Covenant and the 2 tablets in Hebrews. But anyways, so that he who is reading can take flight, for the vision is deferred for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and not lie. That's the prophecy. Set the seal on the vision and prophet. And look, Paul puts it in the future in Acts 13:40. See to it, therefore, that spoken by means of the prophet might not come against yourselves. See, it hasn't happened yet in his day. Look, you despisers, and marvel and perish, for in your days I will carry out a work that you would certainly not believe if anybody were to declare it to you. Habakkuk 1:5. Look among the nations and observe, and wonder with astonishment, for I will perform a work in your days you would not believe if it were told. Look, that's something that can fulfill in Hosea 9. Verse 7, the days of visitation have come, the days of retribution have come. Israel will come to know. The prophet is considered a fool, the man of the spirit mad. For immense is your distortion, your strong delusion, and immense is your provocation. The watchman of Ephraim was with my Elohim. The prophet is a bird trapper, snare in all his ways, enmity in the house of his Elohim. But so when you go back to Habakkuk, you see him going between, the good and the bad between here. So you have appointed them for judgment in my rock. You have established them for correction. Hey, concealed in the clefts of the rock, my dove. But anyways, so you got this vision deferred because there's a seal on it. There's a view towards a testimony towards it. That's when the end will come. But if you don't let this message out, it cannot come. Though it delays, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay. Look, his heart is lifted up in him. It's not upright in him. But the righteous man will live by his faith. And it goes with everyone too. Paul even references this in Hebrews 10 about the righteous living by faith. But in here you see about Yahweh and his appointed temple. I think the house of Elohim, the tabernacle. Let all the earth keep hush and keep silence before him. Renew your work, and his brightness is like the light rays flashing from his hands are his, and where there is concealment of his strength, of his power. A pestilence went before him. And you see about oaths, and those little secret oaths, huh? The sun and the moon stood still in their place at your arrows, flying like light at the shining of your glittering spear. I've told you about that glittering spear dream, and if you saw my last video, Twins of a Row, I showed off in the movie Fantastic Beast and the Secrets of Dumbledore, and they had these green lights going up there kind of look like what I saw in the dream. And I actually saw something else interesting too, because there's those red coats with the three red coats, and how that's like a 1776 thing. Paul Revere, the red coats are coming, the little war. And they also show that like in Twilight 2, like at the beginning, Bella is in a dream and she's running through a thing, and there's red coats everywhere, and the clock strikes noon, or you could say midnight, but it's noon. Edward was gonna go kill himself. It's like the sun going down at noon, but then she, runs in the woods. She's in a dream, but when she wakes up, and it has a Romeo and Juliet book with red coats around there. I think Trump's got that coin, the sons of light versus the sons of darkness. He's a liar. He's trying to pretend to be the Most High. But you marched through the land in indignation. You thrust the nations in anger. You came out for the salvation of your people, for salvation with your anointed. I think the queen's going to be anointed too. I've seen that stuff with Snow White, with the white heart, and how that went into Song of Songs. And right here, Yahweh Adonai is my strength, and he will make my feet like a deer, like that white heart. But I'll show you something else interesting though I seen to go with that last video though. So you'll see 3 yellow coats, and you'll see a certain someone wearing a shirt that matches up with the yellow coats, the red coats, and the blue coats, and with 3 in there in the yellow, just like there's 3 yellow coats. Coincidence, considering everything I said in the last video, Twins of a Row? Happy little coincidence, huh? I'm in Matthew 11, and John, having heard in prison the works of the Christ. Now, remember what we read in Hebrews 8? That Jesus made a mediator of a better covenant. And also, this is Hosea 12:10. I have also spoken through prophets, and I have multiplied visions, and by the hands of the prophets use parables. Now look. So John, having heard in prison the works of Christ, having sent 2 of his disciples, and he said to him, that mediator, are you the coming one, or are we to look for another? And Jesus answering said to them, having gone, relate to John what you hear and see. The blind receive sight, and the lame walk. The lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised, and the poor are gospelized. Blessed is he who shall not fall away in me. That's that mystery among the nations. Christ in you. That's the secret among the nations. Colossians 1:27. The glory of this secret among the nations. Those nations, those Hebrews who would be a company of peoples. The mystery is Christ in you, because in his seed the fullness of the nations. So Christ in you, the hope of glory. And now, since you see that little secret hidden right in there, and they also mention this in Luke 7:22, and it's like, blessed is the one who shall not fall away in me. And a lot of these translations kind of fumble on this translation. Even the Keys of the Kingdom has it done all funny, because every time you read the in me, how the churches say, oh, that's Jesus living inside me, and he kind of, he knows how off that is. It doesn't make sense at all. But when you understand, that's not what it's talking about at all, but it's that mystery, just like out of the loins of Abraham, and Levi was in him. This is the same way with that fullness of the nations in him, that stone of Israel, which in the clefts of the rock is the queen too.
No matter what Muir says. I felt peculiar. Queer almost. What? Since when? Oh, I won't sing it all over, but I feel lovely. I feel lovely. There's your gas. Gal? What? It's a bit better.
And my cough.
This is her doing.
Now you see, Jesus makes a reference here that goes to Isaiah 35. Then the eyes of the blind will be open, the ears of the deaf unstopped, and then the lame will leap like a deer, and the tongue of the dumb will sing. Now look, he also then mentioned how blessed is he who is in me. So you know how that goes to that mystery, Christ in you. And if you also seen Matthew 23, it says you won't see me until you say, blessed is the one coming in the name of the Lord. But it's clearly a reference of that fullness of the nations coming. And I've covered this like in other videos. And like you got to see that lilies of the field, the rose of Sharon, because then you hear about this passage, and the wilderness and wasteland will rejoice over them, but the desert will rejoice and blossom like a rose. That's a resurrection, that fading flower. It's going to blossom and rejoice with joy and singing, just like the bride does in Song of Songs. They're going to rejoice with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon will be given to it. Got that psalm in there, being the Lebanon. The excellence of Carmel and Sharon, because that rose of Sharon, Song of Songs. I am a rose of Sharon, a lily of the valleys, as a lily among the thorns. So is my friend among the daughters. They're both roses of Sharon. And it's like Jesus said, consider the lily. And he speaks of Solomon. He's pointing you to this book. And you saw that clip from Snow White too, and there's a lot of references in that movie with this too, like leaping on the mountain, skipping on the hills. My beloved is like a roe, or to a young one of the hearts. Think that white hart. Lo, he is standing behind our wall, looking from the windows, blooming from the lattice, and a dove in the cleft of the rocks, but day breaking forth. But so in all other references I've done, if you've seen the series, like when she walks out to the white hart, you got that guy saying, I know. It's like a reference. I know he will be a people. That prophecy I gave you in Genesis 48 of the Christ, and in him the fullness of the nations. Then she walks up to that white hart that had all these horns on it, tons of them. It's like that Deuteronomy 33 prophecy. The horns, the firstborn of an oxen is his glory, and his horns are the horns of a wild oxen are his horns, and with them he'll gore the peoples to the ends of the earth. These are the 10,000s of Ephraim and the thousands of Manasseh. So you got these two in here. I think two also. Back in Romans 11:25, for I do not want you brothers to be ignorant of this mystery, so that you should not be wise within yourself, that blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the nations has come in. Now we know about that fullness, being that stone of Israel. It represented the house of Elohim. But we also know hidden in the clefts of the rock. It says, my dove hidden in the clefts of the rock. We got the queen in there. She's part of the fullness. So, that blindness, maybe she's going to be the one that's going to lead Jacob, and they're going to start really seeing more. And so all Israel will be saved, as it has been written, the deliverer will come out of Zion, and he will turn away ungodliness from Jacob. Now look, so at Numbers 24, a star shall come, or to tread marge, and that's also to lead, guide. So she'll lead forth Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out. So Numbers 24, a star will lead forth out of Jacob. So you got that other part of the fullness that came out of Jacob. And a scepter will rise out of Israel, because we know that Revelation 12 sign, and it's also the glory of Ephraim flying away like a bird. He has to go away for 1,260 days. But in that meantime, the star will lead forth Jacob, the queen.
What are you talking about?
You have eyes, huntsman, but you do not see. You who have been with her the longest. She is life itself. She will heal the land. She is the one.
So remember, things Moses was divinely instructed to do were type and shadows and foreshadowings of the heavenly things to come. In 2 Chronicles 7:11, so Solomon finished the house of Yahweh, the king's house, and Solomon successfully accomplished everything that came into his heart to make in the house of Yahweh and in his own house, because he was to build the temple. Divinely instructed on this one too. And Yahweh appeared to Solomon by night, and he said to him, I have heard your prayer, and I have chosen this place for myself for a house of sacrifice. Think of that. Set a seal on the prophet, on a vision and prophet, and to anoint the most holy place. Inside the most holy place that Solomon built, there was 2 cherubim. If I close up the skies so that there is no rain, kind of like stuff that could happen during Revelation 11 when it talks about these have power to stop the rain. Or if I command the locusts to devour the land. Or if I send pestilence among my people, I think a pestilence went before him in Habakkuk. And if my people who are called by my name, the chosen man, part of the fullness, the king and queen, will submit themselves and pray and seek my face. And Isaiah talks about, I didn't say seek my face in vain. And turn, from their wicked ways, then I will hear from the heavens and forgive their sin and heal their land. I think maybe could that be that healing too? Like stuff like what Jesus did, but now it's going to be happening with the Queen. Something to think about, huh? Now my eyes will be opened and my ears will be attentive to the prayer which is made in this place. For now I have chosen and set apart this house so that my name might be there throughout the duration of the eon, and my eyes and my heart will be there for all the days. And it's just like, set a seal on my heart and my arm, like it says in that Song of Songs. Set me as a seal on thy heart and as a seal on thy arm. Song of Songs 8:6.
Can't you feel it? Are your ailments not gone? Gold or no gold, where she leads, I follow. I'm with you. He's following.
But first, the king has to die, and the seal on the vision and prophet and anoint the most holy place. The offering has to come to the queen. Set a seal on thy heart and a seal on thy arm. For as strong as death is love, sharp as Sheol is jealousy. Its burnings are burnings of fire, a flame of many waters are not able to quench the love, and the floods do not wash it away.
I've never given much thought to how I would die. But dying in the place of someone I love seems like a good way to go.
Song of Songs 7:10. I am my beloved, and on me is his desire. Come, my beloved, we go forth to the field. We lodge in the villages, we go early to the vineyards. It's Micah 4. Writhing agony to give birth, daughter of Zion. That's a daughter of the offering from Zephaniah 3, like a woman in labor. For meanwhile you will go out of the city, you will leave home. You will live in the field, and you will go to Babylon. There you will be delivered. Remember the deliverer, the messenger who delivered me from every evil? It's that same one that's going to do the resurrection, gathered all the scattered ones and bring them to the land from Genesis 28. So she'll be delivered, then Yahweh will redeem you from the hand of your enemies.
So, I can't bring myself to regret the decision to leave home.
So you see, you're leaving home to go out to the field, and also in Song of Songs 6. Who is this looking forth as morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, awe-inspiring as bannered hosts? He gets compared to a moon, the twins of Orion. So that was Full Moon by Black Ghost from the movie Twilight. As she's leaving her home to go out to the field, when the full moon turns white, the queen gets compared to a moon in that Song of Songs. I'm going out to see what I can sow. And look, like the morning sun, your eyes will follow me. I think the Sun of Righteousness rising with healing in its wings. And if you watch Snow White, more of the programming where she has the branch in her hand, and then there's 7 dwarves looking, representing the 7 eyes, which are the ecclesia groups, representing, the whole. For as you will see, I will bring my servant the branch. For see the stone I laid before Joshua, and on one stone 7 pairs of eyes. And then, so your eyes will follow me as you watch me wander, curse the powers that be. And look, Donald Trump, the powers that be. So her, him quote, talking about her cheating on Robert may inspired her to come out. But we know about the MK Ultra and all that programming in there, and in Twilight, a bunch of MK programming on her. She put, he's such a little baby and fuck you, bitch. Kind of funny, huh? Cursing the powers that be. Now, if you think of that other song too from the Desert Rose, Nothing Is As It Seems. So check it out. Here's a little video. I'll show you clips from this video, but I'm gonna, since I showed stuff about Trump saying, how he looked like Elvis, kind of mocking in your face that, people don't know about the twins. If you've seen the Twins of the Row video, you're gonna know about, I showed that clip where it showed half Elvis, half Trump. And when you know about the offering, so obviously Jesus saying, blessed is he who was in me, and I've proven it that there's an offering coming, and it's only going to come to descendants of Jesus.
The president is not a huge fan of me. But that is so okay. And Donald, if you didn't like me then, you're really probably not going to like me now, because I'm hosting SNL and I'm like so gay, dude.
And no good! Missing the extra. No good! No good!
And I'm like so gay, dude.